What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another lesson inside Blue Chip Athletic Club's onboarding course. So, here is what the profile is going to look like for your coach when you are uploaded into the Precision Nutrition Pro Coach app. So, again, your coach is going to be able to see everything that you kind of had highlighted in there, your goals, what those are going to be, all of your date of birth information, your preferred pronouns, if that's something that you need to put in there. You've got all your eating styles, the meals per day, your food sensitivities, kind of all these things kind of popping up here. Your habits, whatever that kind of looks like for you, what you do, what you don't do, things that you have, and then they also have full access to your skills assessment. So, how well you hydrate, and this is all based on the things that you kind of fill out, and how good you are at doing all of these things. So notice I didn't really put a ton of effort and time into these, but all of these things are something that you can view, reflect on, and then also use to make a really educated guess on the best way to kind of move forward as a team, because that's what nutrition is all about. It's about being a team. So your intake questionnaire, the full one, will also be displayed in here. So I can actually look through all of your responses, make sure that I've got a really good idea. Me or another coach has a really good idea of kind of where you are and where you want to go. So this is incredibly important for you to take your time on and really start to move forward. So next thing that we'll do is we're going to schedule our first check-in. Our first check-in will be scheduled in Calendly. And what I'll do is I'll pull Calendly up so that you can see how that kind of looks here. So we'll go into Calendly after you've completed your intake questionnaire. You'll go, and the way this will look is you'll be given our booking page, which will look a lot like, I'll show you this right here, like so. This is going to be your client check-in. You're going to pick a time based on where you are. So, hey, maybe we're going to do Saturday. I'm going to book a 8 o'clock time. I'm going to put my name, contact information, everything else in here, and then put in here, let's going to do our PN Pro Coach meeting. Once you send this out, you'll get email confirmation, you'll get text reminders. It's all super automated and really awesome. So this is how you'll schedule your Calendly check-in as well. And this app or this URL is going to be in your intake email. So don't lose that email. It's super important for us to move forward. So until then, I'm going to close out. We'll go back into this check-in process. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to essentially plan a check-in process. So we are going to look through your intake questionnaire and essentially agree upon practices that break down into skills, or excuse me, daily actions that break down from skills, practices, and then we'll essentially agree upon them together to move forward. So let's say as a client, I was looking to choose better foods in general. So I would have, with my coach, I'd be on this coaching call and I'd be like, well, I'd really like to choose better foods. And coach is like, great. So what are these things that we want to do? Well, I haven't really prioritized protein very much, and I'd like to be better at choosing proteins. So great. We're going to choose better proteins. This is our practice that we're going to try and hit. Know that this list is pretty extensive, right? There's stuff about stress, there's stuff about sleep, there's stuff about change, emotional regulation, growth mindset, self-awareness. So really don't be afraid on your coaching call when you do this onboarding process to really look through all of the things that are available to you for a practice that you're going to try out. And on your first go through this, what I want to do is make sure that everybody knows we're going to just try and hammer out one practice that we can do on a day-to-day basis. I think that way it's super manageable and something that you can continually make progress and check the box for. So we picked our practice. We're going to choose better proteins. We agreed upon this as a team. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this over to our selected practices timeline over here on the side. So we're going to now break down our choosing better proteins into something manageable that's going to be a daily action. Now, the software gives you examples of ways that you can do that. So you can either fill out a red, yellow, and green foods worksheet, which this is basically is going to be, hey, green means go, green is good foods, yellow is like, hey, you should eat some of these, and red is like, hey, we should eat less of these proteins in general so that we can have leaner, better proteins. You can choose leaner, lower fat protein options. You can choose grilled protein instead of fried. Remember that these are just examples for us. We don't necessarily have to choose these, and we can pick something on our own. So let's say my decision with the coach, we decide that we're going to come up with, hey, I'm going to carry around the red, yellow, green worksheet in my pocket at the supermarket. Cool. And this is something that, or maybe I'll keep it in my car or keep a copy in the car. So anytime that I'm shopping or I'm trying to make a food choice, this is what I'm going to do. So the next question that your coach should be asking you is on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you about your chosen action? So in general, your coaches as well as Precision Nutrition will say if you are not more than 9 out of 10, so 90% confident that you can make this happen on a day-to-day basis, then you need to change your action. So let's say, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this all the time. Well, maybe I'm not going to be able to keep a copy in the car because we have one car and, my partner uses my car sometimes, so I'm not going to have it with me. So I'm going to delete that action because I don't think I'll be able to do it all the time. And then I'm like, you know what? I forget stuff all the time at home, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this action either. So I'm going to change my action now to choosing grilled protein instead of fried. And I know that oh boy, based on my access to foods, that this is much more manageable for me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a 10 out of 10. I know I can do that all the time. So here's where we're now going to agree upon our daily action. And then we're going to move forward based on how confident we are in that daily action. So we're moving on here to now essentially, we're going to troubleshoot things that may come up along the way. So our summary page is going to come up here, and we're going to think about things that will help us do the action, challenges that are going to come up, planning preparation steps to get through those challenges, and who else needs to know. So let's say, what will help me do these actions? Well, maybe I can get rid of my fryer at the house. That would be a great way to help me do the action. Or maybe I'll stop buying peanut oil or whatever, or frying oil or whatever that kind of looks like for you. And we decide that we're going to have these two actions that are going to help us along the way. Sweet. So next thing will be, hey, what challenges are going to come up? And this is, again, the whole time we're working through this, we're working with our coach to try and determine these things. If you don't know what challenges are going to come up, well, that's what your coach is there for. They're there to guide you. They're there to help you kind of brainstorm ways that you can make this work for you. So let's say a challenge that comes up is, I love Chick-fil-A because who doesn't, right? So how will I get around that? Well, instead of ordering and this next step here talks about planning and prep to work around those challenges. What I'll say, instead of the spicy deluxe, I'll order a grilled version or grilled chicken nuggets. Boom. So that's something that I can do. It's tangible, it's easy, and it's something that I can repeat, right? The last thing is going to be, who else needs to know about this action? Well, let's say my partner always likes to go with me to Chick-fil-A, and they are somebody that I need to help hold me accountable. Or maybe let's say you have kids. Your kids need to be also someone who could be like, hey, pops or whoever, you should probably look into having more of the grilled options because we talked about this before and trying to work on this with your diet. So the way that this worksheet now is set up is that we've decided what our practice is based on our skill. Our skill is to choose better foods. Our practice is that we're going to start to choose better proteins. And by doing that, we're going to choose grilled protein instead of fried. We feel very confident that we can do that on a day-to-day basis. Things that'll help us out, we laid out: getting rid of the fryer, not buying oil. What challenges? I love Chick-fil-A, so that'll be a challenge, especially their spicy deluxe. So instead of ordering the spicy deluxe, I'll just order a grilled version of the chicken nuggets. And this doesn't have to be something that happens all the time. Maybe every, 1 out of 3 times you go there, that's going to be progress, right? So it's something that we kind of agree upon and make sure that we're tracking in the same direction on. And then Who else is going to know about the action? Well, my partner and kids all need to know about what we're going to do. So once we figured all these things out, what I'm going to do as the coach is close the check-in. And at this point, we've got the ability to utilize a food journal as well as messaging back and forth so we can send messages to each other, as well as other resources for our client. So here's what's going to happen now. You're essentially going to get the ability, and I'm going to pull up someone else's account here, so I hope that they're not upset with me moving forward. I'm going to choose TJ. Sorry, TJ, in advance. But when we end up doing these actions, you get to essentially grade yourself on how you're doing. TJ decided that he wanted to create and use a sleep ritual. That's an excellent goal. And then what you're going to do is grade yourself on how you did. Well, on Tuesday and Wednesday, he felt like he was a 5 out of 5, 1 being terrible, 5 being amazing. So every single day, you'll log into your app. You're going to be able to pass this information along to your coach, and you guys will have something to talk about moving forward. Next thing that you have access to is your food journal, right? The food journal is super, super easy. It's not tracking food in MyFitnessPal. It's much more digestible. All you're going to do is upload a photo of the food that you had. You're going to talk about when you ate it, how you felt when you ate it, how much you had, and where you had it. And this is where your coach is able to leave candid feedback for you as you move your way through the program. So that's a quick rundown of what Pro Coach is going to give you. It breaks down things into small daily habits, daily actions to help you make actionable progress moving forward. It's really, really great software. I'm really excited to continue to use it. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to your coach, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Later.